Vietnam issue was something that was kind of abstract to me. I mean, I was a kid in school, you know, with a paper route.
Everybody I knew, their dad had been in the military and served in some capacity, and so you grew up with it. You know, we were like just normal boys. We played Army all the time and all this sort of stuff.
The circumstances with the enlisted were like everybody in the mid to late 1960s. There was a thing called the draft, and when your number came up, you started figuring out, okay, the military is going to happen, what do I do? And so I decided, well, I don't want to go to Vietnam, so I'll enlist in the Air Force. And I enlisted in the Air Force and ended up in Vietnam. Sometimes things don't work out the way you plan.
When I was at the academy, however, and towards graduation, some of my classmates were very concerned that the war would be over before we had an opportunity to perform our wondrous activities that we were capable of doing. We were sure we were going to be able to save the free world.
When we first went over there was a platoon sergeant, and he had been in Korea. He had stuff. I said, "How do you cope with this?" We got to be pretty close, and he says, "No," he says, "You can't." He says, "You always got to think, sorry it was him, glad it wasn't you. It is what it is, let's go on." You just got to keep saying that to yourself, or you won't be a good soldier.
When one of the teams went hot or got in trouble, we would scramble 2 helicopters, and they would take off immediately. They were under the control of a forward air controller that was circling in a little light Cessna airplane.
And then it would be your responsibility as a forward air controller then to take control of the fighter elements as they would come in, and then kind of be their air traffic controller, if you will.
And then we'd descend to the treetop level, firing as we came down and firing our guns to suppress any ground fire that was in the area.
Called it in right on top of us. Just hoped it wouldn't hit us. And it hit, and we were pretty darn close. Say, hey, I guess we know where we're at.
If you had troops in contact, then it was, all out. That was, no holding back, and you went full bore to help the guys on the ground.
That's why whenever I hear a helicopter now, it always gives me that warm, fuzzy feeling.
You amass that many people together, and there's bound to be some casualties, some deaths, some miracles.
So your values suffered because of the situation you were in, and life became quite cheap, and you didn't trust anything. There were little kids walking out to soldiers asking to be picked up, and they had hand grenades taped under their armpits, so when the soldier bent low to pick up the kid, the hand grenade went off and blew up the kid and the soldier. Those were just routine happenings, and it became obvious to everybody around that life is cheap.
Well, there was a lot of good times, a lot of bad times.
Do the good times outweigh the bad times?
Sometimes.